Hey guys, it's Dr. Ryan here with the answer to the question, can modafinil really upgrade your brain? In today's video, I'm going to reveal that, as well as how I utilize it with my patients so they can get more done in less time with less stress. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe below if you want to see more videos like this one, and ring the bell so you can be notified when my next video goes live.
Did you ever see the 2011 movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper? The one where he's kind of like a deadbeat, out of work author until he hits this mysterious smart drug, right? They call it NZT.
He was just a guy that was kind of down on his luck, and he discovered this medication, and he turned it around and became like a hedge fund billionaire who was running for president towards the end of the movie.
I think it was loosely based on the smart drug modafinil.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite quote from that movie was where Bradley Cooper says the following: I see every scenario. I see 50 scenarios.
That's what it does, Carl. It puts me 50 moves ahead of you.
The idea is that it just allows you to unlock areas of your brain that puts you ahead of everyone else. The reality, though, is modafinil isn't exactly like that. But what I have seen is that it can radically improve cognitive performance, primarily by reducing fatigue. It can enhance working memory, improve productivity and vigilance, and also dampen anxiety. It was initially developed by some French scientists back in the 70s, and was initially used in the late 80s for soldiers that were participating in certain operatives in the French military. And it worked really well. Initially, they used it as a wakefulness promoting agent, and it was indicated for patients who have narcolepsy and sleep apnea. But what people quickly recognized is it really helps with cognition.
I first heard about it when I was at MIT, and a few of my classmates were taking it, and I noticed that they could pick up material a lot quicker. They could sit and lecture and focus. They could recall a lot better. I'm like, what's your secret? And I thought, oh, they're studying much harder, or they're just smarter.
It does work as a dopamine reuptake inhibitor, and it seems to also release histamine as well as orexin neuropeptides. Those are the main reasons why it increases wakefulness.
When I was in hedge fund days in this, I would, take quite a bit, and it was so hard to get. I had to talk to probably 15 or 16 physicians.
The main FDA approved indications are narcolepsy, sleep work shift disorder, obstructive sleep apnea, but it is used off label for depression, for ADHD, even in certain aspects of dementia, or certain patients that have been suffering from fatigue related to schizophrenia or Parkinson's disease, gotten some great benefits from it. A lot of people, when they think about modafinil, they're like, well, is this a safe drug? It's been around for a long time. There have been several studies with people on it continuously for several months, almost a year. So it's a very safe drug. Typically, we dose it between 100 to 200 milligrams, and in rare cases up to 400 milligrams, but it is very, very well tolerated.
This is not good. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I took maybe 4 to 5x that in my days. And sometimes I would get really bad headaches, right? And my mouth would get pretty dry. I'd have to drink more water. What are some ways that you can kind of amplify or, make it more effective?
Yeah, I think you touched upon the number one way, which is just to drink at least a gallon of water. Modafinil can be a vasoconstrictor. It can dehydrate you a little bit. I'm not certain if it has been documented as a diuretic, but I have heard this to be the case. We do know that modafinil seems to reduce hunger and perhaps your thirst response too. So making sure that you eat and you drink, those are things that can definitely help with the headache issue. If you want to prolong the effect of modafinil, one thing I typically recommend is you can do things that will reduce the cytochrome P450 system, just that enzymatic breakdown system in your liver. And so things like grapefruit can help potentiate. Modafinil is a pretty long-acting drug. The half-life is about 12 hours. But if you have a grapefruit for breakfast, it can make it last a little bit longer and modulate your dose a little bit. There have been some studies that have looked at modafinil and caffeine. For example, here's a study that looked at modafinil and caffeine on nighttime vigilance for Air Force crew members. And what they found was that 200 milligrams of modafinil and 300 milligrams of caffeine significantly decreased the effects of a limited period of sleep deprivation. So in other words, these sleep-deprived people in the Royal Netherlands Air Force were actually able to do their tasks much more effectively when they added caffeine on. It is considered a stimulant. It can raise your heart rate to a certain extent. You just want to make sure that you titrate the dose to efficacy. As with all of the medications I suggest patients utilize, you want to use a small dose, start low, go slow. Some patients do really well with as little as 50 milligrams or 25 milligrams. So a quarter of the 200 milligram tablet or an eighth of the 200 milligram tablet. It's not as potent as NZT. Just by swallowing a pill, you won't unlock all areas of your brain, but it can really improve alertness, your attention to detail, cognition. And one other thing that I wanted to mention is it can improve mood. You have to be a default optimist as an entrepreneur. You have to make sure that you're able to weather the
ebbs and flows, high highs, low lows.
Right, the entrepreneurial roller coaster, right? And anything that can help assist you in that is going to be very, very useful.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because like we work with a select core of highly successful entrepreneurs, and they're not going to say, "Oh, this is responsible. Like this is the main reason why I'm successful." But it's funny because you look at the 8-figure entrepreneurs, and we have tons of those 7 and 8-figure, and those guys, and I would say the majority of them are aware of it or tried it or used it, right?
Whereas modafinil is primarily utilized as a cognitive enhancer, what we're also kind of finding is that it may be a good exercise enhancer. Not that I would ever script it for that reason, but a couple of studies have mentioned is that it seems to increase exercise time to exhaustion. I'm not suggesting modafinil should be a pre-workout, but that is a nice added side effect of it. So hopefully this has been somewhat helpful for you guys watching this video. I think modafinil in an appropriate dose under the correct supervision from a physician can be very beneficial for a selected group of individuals. It can improve cognition, it can reduce anxiety, reduce depression, it can improve your alertness. It may even improve exercise capacity, so lots of benefits.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that it was the secret or how I got into MIT, but I definitely think it really helped me survive. It was a very tough and stressful environment, and I really think that was one of the main players that kind of helped me stay the course and kind of continue on at MIT, and it really powered me through, I think.